How to be grateful. So in my previous video on how to get rich, my best tip for feeling rich and feeling happy in the moment is to become grateful for the insane amount of blessings that we all have in our lives, no matter what is going on and what kind of obstacles we're facing. And if you think about it, as humans, when we're striving for different things like, oh, I want that six-figure job so that then I'll feel grateful, or I want that hot boyfriend or girlfriend so that then I'll feel grateful, then I'll be happy for what I have, then I'll be accepting, and then I'll feel at peace. And I think that really the truest way to have happiness and presence, whatever period of life you're in, is to develop gratitude in the moment. Because if we can become thankful for what we have, I think that the flow of life and acquiring maybe more things would come a lot easier. And I think that if we're in this state, everything just flows a lot better. So I was speaking to my friend about this, and she was saying, Cal, like, that's great that, it's true. Gratitude is one of the best things that we can acquire. But she was saying that a lot of people she talks to maybe want to feel grateful and want to have more gratitude in their lives, but it maybe doesn't feel super authentic. Gratitude is quite the buzzword these days, and I think when people maybe have a gratitude journal or try to think about it, she was saying that it's maybe not flowing and maybe not feeling super authentic. And this hit me super hard because it brought me back to when I was 17, 18, getting started off in spirituality and self-development. And I remember I wanted to be grateful. I was like, so I would try the gratitude journal or I would try speaking it. And I just remember that it didn't feel super authentic. It didn't flow that well. And it caused me to kind of judge myself and be like, why am I not grateful? So in this video, I'm gonna give you guys a few ideas on what are the precursors for gratitude and how we can actually become grateful, to develop an attitude and a lifestyle of gratitude for if it's our blessings or if it's our obstacles, just to become grateful for that, and life becomes a lot better. So my first tip is to speak it. I think that writing down gratitude is super smart, and I do it a lot, but I think that speaking gratitude affirmationally is the most effective way to feel grateful. And I think that speaking itself, like saying something in an affirmational manner, in the form of prayer is how I usually do it, is one of the most underrated things I've ever come across. And I think even scientifically, people don't really understand it. But when we are speaking with our vocal cords, we are literally having a vibration run through our entire body, and it's emanating from our chest. And I try to really feel it. Like, I can feel it right now. I can feel my voice in my whole body. And imagine if you're saying something like, thank you, God. I am grateful to be alive. For that moment while you're saying that, that vibration is running through your entire body. You're physically present. You're physically there in the moment. And if you really get into it and fake it until you make it, it is crazy how quickly you can feel grateful and blessed and happy. So with prayer, I think it's kind of a buzzword that a lot of people are maybe put off by for a number of different reasons. But prayer, for me, I begin all my prayers with gratitude. And some of my prayers are simply gratitude, and that's all I say. But I think that prayer can be incredible when we combine our minds with other people and pray in groups. It can be an incredible experience. But just speaking it and feeling it and getting in the moment and expressing gratitude, and I almost feel like sometimes I'm an actor, especially if I'm feeling really down. Like if I'm tired, if I'm like really out of it, I will get so physically in my body, and I will just be like thank you, God, like I am so grateful. And I think that that's really the most effective way for me to feel grateful. My next tip to feeling gratitude and developing the precursor for gratitude is, to be honest, developing a spiritual relationship, to develop a spiritual side of yourself. Because I think that for me, when I was younger, I've said in other videos, but I didn't believe in God. I was a total atheist. I had no spiritual orientation. And I was honestly in a state of entitlement. I felt like a lot of things in my life weren't fair. I viewed things in a very scientific and linear concept, and when I would see other people that had more than me, or maybe things came easier, or maybe they had better circumstances, it was very easy for me to be like, oh, that's not fair, or to feel entitled, or to compare myself. And it was very difficult for me to feel grateful. And so this might not be what everyone wants to hear, but to be honest, I would have a real hard time feeling a lot of gratitude if I didn't believe in God, or if I didn't have a relationship with God, or if I didn't have a spiritual side, or if I didn't meditate, if I didn't pray, if I didn't have that connection within myself to my creator and my source, it would be a lot harder to feel gratitude. And since I kind of broke through that barrier, opened myself up to a spiritual side, that really opened up the flow of gratitude in my life more than anything else. And so if we want to feel grateful, I think, for having a car, or for our coffee, or for our food, or these smaller things, or these daily pieces of our life, the third tip is, I think that if we can become grateful for just this one thing, that everything else will fall into place like dominoes. And this is pretty deep, it's pretty intense, but I think if we became grateful for the mere fact of our own existence, and this might be the deepest question we can ask ourselves, am I grateful for life itself? Like, am I thankful to something? Am I thankful for God or to the universe or something? Like, am I thankful to be alive, to be present in this body? Because I think with mankind, humans have been going through such extensive suffering for thousands of years, millions of years, and I think that some people are so caught up in that they almost lose the joy of life, or they almost lose gratitude for being alive. And if you asked me that question when I was a teenager, sometimes it would have been yes, and sometimes it would have been no. So don't be afraid if the answer is no, be honest with yourself, but ask yourself, am I grateful for my own existence? And it's super deep and it's super difficult. It's a long journey, but I think if we can reach the point where we become grateful for being alive and for life itself, I think everything else will fall into place. I think it will open up the idea of starting to become grateful for our obstacles and for our failures. And it kind of, for me, like having a spiritual relationship, it recontextualized my whole concept of what it means to be human and why we're even here. I stopped viewing this as some random scientific phenomenon. I started viewing life more so as me coming here, or our spirits coming here, to really just experience what we're meant to experience to grow. And so it kind of recontextualizes like your hardships and failures and obstacles, because really that's life giving you exactly what you need. And I'll cap this video off, I think, because it's a bit of a serious video, but I think we got to figure out what gets us stoked and what gets us hyped up. Because I think that this like childlike stokedness for life is one of my favorite things in the entire world. I think that the energy of stoke, or the energy of just pure bliss and just excitement, is one of the purest things. And if we kind of get into that state and get present every morning and try to exist in that state, I think that there's so much gratitude that comes out of that. And so the vision I have, it's gonna be different for every person, but I don't know, I just get stoked thinking about this vision of like waking up in the morning and just being like wrecked, just like so tired, like whatever's going on, busy day, but like waking up, and as soon as my eyes open, just being like, yeah, like thank you God for me being alive. And I just think that'd be so sick, just to wake up and just to be like, just to get on your knees and just be like, oh, like yes, and just to be like praying and just have like tears in your eyes, and just what if we could be so grateful for each and every day? Because I think that it is unreal like how much your life can change in one day, and how much you can change someone else's life in one day. And if we take every day, if we're just like yeah, and just get so stoked, I think it's just an incredible thing. And that's something I used to do a lot. Like a couple years ago, I would just yell yes, like over and over again. I was just like, yes. And I would just yell that and just be jumping up and down. And I think there's a lot of value in that. It's a little weird, but I think there's a lot of value in that. And so I'm gonna send this video off and post it. I think all my videos, they come out different every time. This is one of the harder ones I made, but I would love if you guys comment and let me know what you think of this, and if this affected you or if it didn't. And I'll see you guys next week. Ciao.